I've been trying really hard to get it connected to my computer so that I can do it landscape, but another hour of fiddling this morning and I still can't make it work. So we'll do it this way. We'll go portrait. Gosh, I hope this is working. If it's working, please let me know. Mr. Leith would ask me to tag him. So let's just say hi. Right. Ooh. We're there. Okay. So I'll start in just a moment. Just going to try and work out how to watch it on the computer so that I can see what's going on. Gather your kit, weights, mats, spots if you've got them, stretchy bands if you've got them. My eyes look really... I've been making chili jam, so the air in here is absolutely... and I've got it in my eyes, so I'm slightly ugh as well. I'm not bleary-eyed tired, I've just got chili jam, particularly in this eye. Touch of chili in the eye. Okay. So if possible, if you can give me a thumbs up to let me know the sound's working. Sound I need working. Let me know the visuals are working. Let's just tilt that down slightly. My tripod's getting more and more rickety. There we are. That should work. Can you see? Still a little bit far away, isn't it? Ah, Michael's on. I'm to make a tower here so I can bring that a bit closer. We're there. Right, have you gathered all your clobber? Nearly ready to go. Andrew, could you just jump on and check that it's coming, that it's working before I get going? Thank you. Right, well, it's thee and me. There's at least one of us, eh? Okay, let's just move that across to the side so that I can see what I'm doing. Oh yeah, are you ready? Keep something nearby if you need something to hold on to. You're welcome to start sitting down. Somebody's at the door. It's all going on. Right, just a slow march. Oh, I've not got a timer on. Otherwise you'll have Mary minutes. So start marching, just simply marching. Make sure when you're marching that your feet are active feet, that they're doing something, that they're moving, not just plodding as if they're the end of a hockey stick that doesn't have any life in it. So push off the floor, make your feet work. Wind your shoulders back, dog's joining in. Wind your shoulders back, nice active feet. It's hard, isn't it? We're essentially swimming backstroke whilst moving legs. Front crawl. Backstroke. Brilliant. So let's sidestep, sidestep and sidestep. Sidestep. Dog thinks it's all here for him. Sidestep and sidestep. So if possible, swim breaststroke while sidestepping. Can you do that? Breaststroke, breaststroke. That's it. a bit of a swimming theme today. Good. Forwards again, but this time you're going to go up and over, up and back, up and over, up and to the centre, like that. Up and back, up and back, up and back. The springs in the feet. You want to make the foot spring there and make the foot spring back. That's what's going to get you started with that step. Actually keep going up to tiptoe and springing off. Spring over and back. 2 more. Over and back. Change legs and arm. I'm now doing left arm, left leg, right arm. Spring your feet. Spring it off. Spring it off. So spring and spring. Spring and spring. 2 more. And spring. 1 more. And spring. Well, that'll do. Right, we're stepping backwards. Haven't done any rest yet. Rest if you need to, okay? I'll keep ploughing through just as we warm up, because it's not too traumatic, and you can go at your own speed. You don't need to follow me. So again, you can just touch that foot back and rock onto it if you can. Rock. Step back, rock. Step back, rock. Step back and pause. Just have a look at your feet. Have you got any distance between them? Did you step right back or just a little tiny bit? Step back and rock. And then push forwards. Again, it's off the toes. As you push forwards, you've got to work through that calf. Push forwards. Couple more. Push. 1 more. Push. Other leg. Back and rock, and then push off. Rock. Really focus on the feet. They're a bit critical. We are going to revisit this in a bit harder in a moment. I just want you to get that used to that pushing off the toes. Pushing off the foot, rock and back, and then push. Last one, rock back, and then push. It's very sterile with no music and no other people around to do this. So I suggest that if you've got some favourite music, put it on loud whilst you're working. If you can, then you've at least got some beat to work to. Right, we're going Charlie Chaplin. And just up onto the toes and back down again. If you can, raise the arms. If you can, raise the arms. Oh, I can cheat. I can hold the ceiling just here. A little bit of low ceiling. That's cheating. So just think, we've been thinking about the feet, but now think about the hands as well. Get them right open, really strongly open. Nice balance. If you can with these, just half pop down and then straight back up again. And half pop down and straight back up again. And half pop down. These are the muscles that stop you falling forwards onto your nose that we're working right now. Good, 1 more set of those. Pull up, hold on, stretch up. I'm asking the moon, I know, you might need to hold on, but see if you can. There, great. And then let that go. Oh, give them a wriggle. Well done. Okay, so opposite now, dipping down into a squat. Now, if you've got any problems with standing up, for any period of time, or if you want to dig deeper with these squats, put either a chair behind or put a lower stool behind to go back to. So you're going to sit all the way down, nearly, and then push back up. So just have a think before we do these about how low you're going to go. I'd love it if you can get 90, and this chair isn't quite low enough to get 90, but 90 is challenging, and not holding 90 there is good. Holding 90 there, your head comes down, but actually if you look, your knees aren't bent at all. So in class, I'm always pushing people's noses back and saying, no, come on, sit right back into that, which is why I think you need a chair, because you can overbalance. And the other thing you can do, if you want to, is tie your legs together. Now, I say this with great nervousness, but telling people to tie their legs together whilst they're exercising makes the exercise more, but also makes you less stable. So you may now need something more to hold on to. But if you've got your stretchy band on, and you give your stretchy band a bit of a stretch, and hold that stretch whilst you're doing the squats, it will activate your glutes a bit more. So stretchy band held, and we're just going to do with or without the chair, a little lift off, and then very, very, very slowly down again. Woo. Barely touch the chair, or even don't touch the chair. Squatting down, good. Squatting down. Great. Really sit back with that squat. Bottom right back. That's good. And then bottom right forwards at the top. Bottom right back. And then bottom forwards at the top. Holding some stretch in the band if you can. Yay! 2 more. One more. We're going to do more sets of these. Don't think that's it. Back to the calves. This time, turning in. Last time we were there, weren't we? This time we're there. Working a different patch of muscle. In and up. Less balanced this way round. These muscles are less efficient at preventing you fall. Nevertheless, we want them strong. So nice and tall. Lower down in your own time. Nearly to the floor and then back up again. I'm adding some balance challenge with the arms. You can do it or ignore it. But whatever you do, make sure you do it well. Ooh, nearly went over then. Great. If you're feeling super feisty, you can add smoothies to these arms and make them do a whirlwind blast. Because the movement of the ball bearings takes you off. But we're also getting some rotation in the trunk with this backstroke. Can you see that? So now you're doing standing on your tiptoes with rotation. It's no wonder you're all over the place. It's a lot. Good. And lower. Can you feel your calves? Back to the squats. With or without the chair, with or without something to hold on to, we're going to squat down and then side lift. Okay? So if you've got your bands on, you've got a bit of resistance on that side lift as well. So squatting back, nice and strong. Lovely. When you come up, side lift, make sure that foot doesn't turn, you want it facing forwards, side lift, and then squatting down, and the other side, side lift. Oh, so much strength work and balance work is in that move. It's a fitness Pilates move. And I've slowed it right down because it's harder slower. And I know you lot want a hard workout, Needs to be worthwhile, doesn't it? If you're going to invest an hour of your time into exercise, it needs to be worth it. You need to know it's doing something, not just a way of whiling away the time. Strength in the legs. Make it stay there for a second longer than you want to. We do 2 more of those. If you're sitting down in a chair, you can still be stretching that band and working the same muscles, doing little nearly stand-ups off the chair for the squats and doing the knee wides to stretch the band. Or you can lie down on your back if you're worried about stability. You can do this move on your back, can't you? Great. Well done. Back to the calves. So we've done out, we've done in. Let's just do straight on now. But let's put one foot in front of the other. A less stable position. The wider you are, the more stable you are. The narrower you are, the less stable. Up onto your tiptoes. And if you can, a little bit of backstroke. Take that shoulder right back and a little bit of backstroke. Well done. Your poor calves. You're going to feel it this tomorrow. You staying high? It's tricky. Switch legs. Switch the direction of the arms. Front crawl. Posture up. Front crawl. Up on your tiptoes still. I'll go sideways so you can see. Keep front crawling. If you're sitting, feel free to add some weights to those arms. But keep those heels off the floor. You know we've done it a lot in sitting. I know you guys can do that. Good. Brilliant. Back to squats. Last set of these in this iteration, but you're going to go down and then you're going to take the leg behind. Okay? So if the band is right just above your knees, you've got more resistance. If you move the band higher up to sort of more mini skirt level, you've got slightly less resistance, but still some good resistance and activation with the band. So up to you. Band around just above your knees, if you like. And you're going to sit down with the squat, so nice and deep. Good. As you come back up, you might need to hold a chair. You're going to just take that backwards. And then sit down. And take that backwards. Sit down. And take that backwards. Sit down and take that backwards. And I'm doing the opposite arm to leg. So as my left leg comes back, my right arm goes forwards. And at the moment, I'm trying to keep my body quite upright. In both those moves, I'm not taking the bend there, just the arm and the leg. This piece of me stays vertical. So have a play with that for 5-ish more. Poor knees. It's not the day for arthritic knees, is it? However, everything I've read says that it's worth doing these for arthritic knees. That in the long run, it helps more than it hurts. So That's why we do it. So either sit down or standing up. Let's untie those legs. Get rid of the activation bands. What were you on? Were you on blues or greens? So with a little hand weight now, and it's up to you. I'm going to go brave with mine. I might wimp out after a moment. So I'd like you to, it's brave for two reasons. Number one reason is it's a bit heavy for me. And number two reason is if I drop it on the floor, I'm going to smash the floor. And I don't want to do that. So you're going to put that down there. And then you're going to pick it up and put it up there. Okay? Strong through the body. Try not to let it. Okay? So you're going to put something down here. Very, very carefully. Because it's a rotational movement, which we like, against rigidity in the trunk. But rotating and lifting, actually no, isn't advised for poorly backs. So you have to keep your core working like we've learnt in class to make sure that you're in control of it. Don't be throwing it around. Lots of strength happening today. As requested, you see. 2 more? What do you think? I don't know. Could be just sat at home drinking tea, couldn't you? That wouldn't get us anywhere though, would it? Up. Right, let's switch arms. So think about being strong in your body. I've got quite a wide base for this. And then you're going from down there to up there. Right to be cautious. That one's about to fall off. Let's go with these two. Down there to up there. To up there. 2 more. Down there. To up there. It's easy to do in a chair as well. I know you've worked that out. So if you were sitting thinking, oh, I can't do that. Down there, up there, down there, to up there, down there, to up there. That'll do, won't it? More of those. Has everybody got a chair locally? Can you grab a chair if you've got one? And we're just going to do a stretch of the body before we carry on. So this is from LSVT Big training. It's always hard to get this right. I'm going to go back a little. But I know most of you have done this with me before. So you're going to take one arm across your body as if you're sweeping a mound of dust off a table. So, or something that you want to grab. So hold on to the chair with one hand and then take that arm across to there. And there you've got a plate of peas, okay? I don't want you to drop any of the peas. Hold the flat hand out there. Try to keep it in shot. And this back leg needs to come up straight. So you end up in a diagonal line from the tip of your middle finger to the middle of your foot back there. So stretch that leg out and stretch the body. And use the chair to hold on to with your other hand if you can. Now have a little fight there. Have a little fight to get the hand over as much as you can. And think about this back leg. Often it's still here, so wiggle it backwards, and then really push that knee straight. Even though I can't see you all on Zoom, I know that it's hard to get that knee straight. So I'm trying to pretend that I can see you and what's going to be going wrong here. So there. If you're rotated to your right side, it should be your left hand that's in front of you. That's the other thing that usually goes wrong. People usually take their right hand to the right side. I want your left hand to your right side. Good. And when you've had enough of that stretch, come back, finish in the middle, and we're going to go the other way. So if you're going to your left side now, it should be your right hand that's going across. Over and round. Stretch that back leg out. Get your plate of peas sorted. Chin up, make sure you're not bent forwards. I want that body vertical. Body vertical from hips to head, vertical. And then a nice diagonal line from the middle of this finger to the back of your toes. Stretch. There, that's a nice rotation. Doesn't that get into that hip? Really try and straighten that knee back and stretch. Gorgeous. That will do. Have you got your plate of peas? 3, 2, 1, and then come back to the centre. Well stretched. Does that feel good? Nicely rotated. Okay, we're going to go back to legs, if that's okay. We're going to go back to legs, but we're going to go to a bit of balance work with those legs as well. That was so close, that weight. Look, it just come to the edge. That was nearly curtains for the kitchen floor. Right. Okay, balance-wise, I'd like to do a little bit of stepping forwards and stepping backwards. Usually in class I use 3 dots. So you'll know how this goes. One leg you're going to place on the middle dot and it's going to stay there. The other leg is going to go to the front dot and to the back dot. So I don't know if you've got kitchen tiles or carpet that you can put a post-it note on. Don't put a post-it note on slippy floor because you'll slide. So for some people they can do it with one foot bang in front of the other. For other people have to put that middle dot somehow to the side so that you've got a bit of breadth. So it's a bit more like a plank, more like doing this on a plank rather than doing it on a tightrope. So get your tightrope ready and then think about going forwards and backwards just with the one leg. Forwards to one spot and backwards to the other. Forwards to one, backwards to the other. If you can, make that go a bit wider as you work. So wide to the back and wide to the front. Do you remember right at the beginning I talked about active feet? This is another place to practice these active feet. And this is one to return to when I'm not around. Because it is just this. You can do it whilst you're boiling the kettle. There's a kitchen work surface there. It is just this. But if you can, get that heel down and then really think about placing that foot. And as you place the front foot, come forwards. This is the preparation work that happens before a step. Going out to the side gives you a bit more balance work into the exercise, but actually just getting those feet active. Active in bending, active in coming round. There. Just doing the one foot. Little rock. If you're feeling excitable, you can do some rotation. You can do some punching. If you're feeling feisty. I was having that sort of a day yesterday. It's one of those days where everything went wrong. Better today. Today's not a punching day. think everybody being in the house all the time, it's tricky, isn't it? I'm very grateful to be safe, but on the other hand, I wish I could just go out for a walk. Okay, so we're going to switch sides. Still think about active feet. So you're going to think one leg places in the centre. Oh, yippee. Andrew's just back. I've got some Nordic walking poles. And lovely Martin's doing some online training. I've never done the Nordic walking training before, but every opportunity. So he's doing some training tomorrow night. So hopefully by tomorrow I'll be a Nordic walking instructor. I've been on some lovely Nordic walks with a lovely trainer, and we've done a little bit of crossover training, but it's not the same as doing your qualification, is it? So Andrew's just gone and got my sticks that are so heavily wrapped in plastic that you can't get them out.
I don't want your head.
Nice active feet as you do this rock. Rock and rock. And the slower you go, the more balance activation that has to happen. Last one. Good. Okay, now thinking work. So we often use the brain work to work against freezing. So I'll put out 10 spots and say to you, give me 10 musicals, give me 10 folk songs, give me 10 boys' names. And the measure is, and whoever I do it, I usually do this in assessment with people, and then whoever they've brought as their +1 stands about and laughs, and then I make their +1 do it. All of us sort of freeze a bit. The brain freezes at number 8-ish, and that's when you push through that brain freeze. It's very easy to go off into bluster of, oh gosh, isn't this crazy? I can't think of a thing. Oh, how terrible. And that's what we very naturally do. But in this instance, it's worthwhile being wrong, knowing that you can't do anything, and just pushing that brain through the brain freeze. Because we're working. So you've got your 10 spots or your 10 steps, and I'd like you to think about boys' names or girls' names, and do 10 straight off, but do it nice big step, and then you're in this position as you think about the first name, and then a nice big step, and you're in this position. Over the dog, another boy's name. Over the dog, hold the balance, another boy's name. Over the dog, hold the balance. And if you need to, you do this up and down your work surface or up and down your sofa so that you've got something next to you, up and down there. Another name. I've only got 5 in this direction, so I'm going to have to go backwards now. Another name, another name, another name, and another name. This is so easy when I'm not having to give a name. Okay? So try that with 2 more categories. Okay, so it's only 10 steps. If you want to be working on the brilliant stepping over the dog, brilliant open arms, open hands, feel free. If you want to do the brain work too, feel free. So, category 2 will be songs, whole songs. Yellow Submarine, and then another song. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? Next one, I want you to do 20 steps, and for all the odds, I want you to do flowers, and for all the evens, I want you to do vegetables. Okay? So the odds are flowers, the evens of vegetables. Last one, last one. Okay? So, odd. A flower I'll have. A vegetable. Flower. Vegetable. Flower. Vegetable. Flower. Vegetable. Halfway through. Nearly there, 3 more to go. Flower, vegetable, flower. Well done. Did you freeze? Did you push through the freeze? Do you need to pause it and have a go without me doing it and distracting you? So what you're trying to do there is essentially distract your brain from your walking. You're all very intelligent humans, and I know that a lot of you are thinking quite hard when you're walking, really thinking about it. So if you can distract your brain with something silly, that's risky because that's when you're most at risk of falling. So do it in a measured way, in a safe environment. Flower, vegetable, or whatever stupid thing that you can think of. Or even try dictating a poem, or singing a song, or telling a story. Tell me the story of what you did yesterday in the most minute detail, and who you saw and how it went. And try to keep the words coming as well as the walking going, so that you're not practicing your walking thinking about it, you're practicing your walking more unconsciously. Because if you're practicing your walking thinking about it, then what happens is the second your brain is distracted by a chair that you're about to think about turning and sitting on, or a doorway, your brain gets slightly distracted, your eyes get slightly distracted, and that's when you can end up either freezing or losing your balance, because your intelligence is compensating all the time. So that's something to be working on if freezy falling's a bit of a problem. So we're going to go down to the floor next. Feel free to use the chair to jump down to the floor. I'd love to plank en route. So if you've got either, you can plank on the floor. Easiest is to plank on a table. Harder is to plank on the seat of a chair or on a stool. We usually use the pilo blocks in the gym, don't we? But we haven't got them here. So you can start off on your table. Are you close enough? So you're just getting your elbows on the kitchen table and making your body into a diagonal shape. And holding that for a minute. If you can hold that and do little leg lifts, feel free. Okay? If that's too easy for, it isn't easy by anybody's stretch of anybody's imagination. You can go a bit lower onto the chair and hold that straight body position. Hold it, hold it, hold it. If you want to, do some little leg lifts. If you're feeling nervous about that, you can do it just from the knees. So you can do it here, just holding that position. And if your wrists don't cope, again, go to here. All right? So now we're starting that exercise. All right, I'm going to go on the floor. I'm just going to pop this down a bit so that you can see me a bit better. So on the floor, roll up a mat. We're going to plank. Are you ready? Little bit of planking. On the table, on the chair, on the floor. On the floor, you can go hands and knees and just take your bottom forwards as much as you can, but try and keep some air between your hips and the floor. So if you're finding it really difficult, splump down and then just try and lift up a little bit. Splump down and try and lift up a little bit. 30 more seconds thinking about this, okay? So try and get that bottom up and get some work in, or if you can, go to a full plank. Try and keep your head in line and keep thinking whilst you're there. Well done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, drop. Brilliant. If you're still standing up and leaning on the table, I just have visions of these tables going flying. Please tell me you have sturdy tables. You're not daft enough to lean on tables that are wobbly, are you? Of course you're not. Okay, so thinking again about lifting your tummy off the floor and getting some tummy work going on. Are you ready? Lift up. Lift up. Hold up. Have a little think. Sometimes we put a ball there, don't we? And you do a little tap and tap as you're up there. See if you can just keep your tummy up, keep your middle working, keep working. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it go. Hurrah! Okay, we're going to do one more of those and then go into a kneeling position. Just checking the time to make sure I haven't done an hour and a half. Okay, one more of those. Core stability. Are you ready? Tummy up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And lower. Splat. Well done. My phone's telling me it's got a low battery. Don't have a low battery. Manage. Okay. So you might want to fold your mat. We're going to put a bent knee down now. Still balance work. You still might need a chair nearby. Up to you. So in this position, kneeling up, leaning back. Up to you how far you go. But you don't send your bottom back and your head forwards. I want you to lean there. Okay? So, just 3 or 4 of these. We're not doing hundreds. Lean back. If you can, raise an arm. And then bring that back forwards. Lean back. Raise an arm, and then back forwards. You're off to work. Bye. Lean back, raise an arm, and then back forwards. Last one. Lean back, raise an arm, and then forwards. If you've done those 4 and you're thinking, I never want to do that again, my knees can't cope, you can do it in this position. Very upright, lean back, raise an arm. Okay? But we're going to stay on knees for now. Okay. So, 2 things to do here. One is this, tightrope kneeling. So we do it in standing. But also in kneeling, so trying to get one foot, instead of going wide, putting it in front of the knee and holding that balance. That'll do. Hang on tall. And you don't need to stick with me for the timings of this, you need to do it yourself because you know what your knee can take. But ideally in this position, you would be able to turn and look one way, and turn. One way is easier than the other, and turn and look the other way without toppling either side. So keep the chair there when you're trying to turn. And so periodically you're going to switch legs, go into the tightrope kneeling the other side, and one side's always better than the other. Turn and Try not to wobble. And turn and try not to wobble. And then bring that back and centre it up. Good. One more each side. Change. Oh, I wobbled. The spot moved. In my defence, the spot moved. So yeah, I'll go sideways so that you can see what I'm doing. The other angle. You're up. On a tightrope. So this leg isn't out wide. It's in and in front of the other leg. And then you're going to turn and try and balance that there. It works your hip stability. And turn and try and balance that there. Good. And sometimes we do this with hand weights. Hello. And excuse me turning my back. And then round again. Hello. Okay, good. Right. We're coming down to the floor gradually. Do you remember doing side and sideways? Again, rotation. There's been two themes to this today. Done a lot of strength, a decent amount of rotation work as well in the trunk. So in this position then, you're going to put your hip down where your knees were. Okay? And then you're going to push back up. And then you're going to put the other hip down where your knees were. Okay? And then you're going to bring that back up. So you have to rotate, you have to bring it in. Otherwise what happens is you just roll to that side and then come back up and then you roll off to that side. Okay? That's easier. Anybody can do that. Just give me a push and I'm over. Okay? So it's a hard control. If your wrists can't take it, put a stool or a poof in front of you or the sofa in front of you so that you can go on your forearms so that your wrists aren't taking it. But just try that a couple of times. So a bit of core happens. When you lift, you're doing a bear plank. So you're lifting your knees there. That's a bear plank. Even if you do that on its own, it's hard on the tummy. But to do that with some rotation, man, that's clever. Okay? So knees up and across. And then back up. Knees up and across. Try two more if you can. So in your own time, I'm not going to do it because I don't want you watching me. I think you need to sort of concentrate on what's going on for you right there, because that's a really complicated compound movement. So knees up and across, and knees up and across. And if you're watching this back, feel free to pause and try a few of these. We'll often finish a class with you lying on your backs, doing rotations for your trunk. But those are very passive, that's allowing gravity to stretch you. This is really active, this is about getting up off the floor. Because if you can go from here to up, to the knees, to up to here and still be stable, then the next part of that is obviously this. And we did this on Tuesday, didn't we? Down to one knee, back up, down to the other knee, back up. There's a lovely strength exercise. It's really hard going to do a repeated effort with that one. Well done. And that's where we're going to finish today. Just that side to side roll, practicing getting up off the floor. You've got to make friends with the floor. I say it all the time, don't I? Yeah. Although when I say we're going down to the floor in class, everybody groans. It's really important, because if you have to land on the floor, it's terrifying for people who haven't been down here for a while. But actually, if you know you can get back up again, do a quick survey make sure that nothing's hurt or broken. There's no problem if you're comfortable being down on the floor. What often happens is people come down on the floor and they're so scared about not being able to get back up, they try and flip themselves straight back up again and hurt themselves. So getting used to getting comfortable, spending a little bit of time down on the floor and knowing that you've got the skills to get back up makes you a little bit more peaceful down here. And that's where people often injure themselves trying to get back up. So I would suggest being able to get yourself up to your knees. In this position, if you're in the centre of a room, get to something. Get to something to stabilise you, because this, as we've already determined, is quite an unstable position to be in. And to be in this position and pushing up is quite hard. If you've got the sofa near you, and you can get like that, you've got a bigger base, so you're more secure. So that's that for today. I hope you feel your quads tomorrow. If you don't feel your quads tomorrow, then tomorrow do all those squats again. Okay, bit deeper, every time a bit deeper. Feel free to go with more repetitions. But the activation band around and doing the side steps, the side lifts and the backwards lift will give you more bottom. It will work those glutes really nicely. So keep going. I'm back on Tuesday. I'm very happy to take requests on what you want to work on. If there's someone that wants to do more seated work, that's fine. I'm just sticking with what people are asking for at the moment. So, and I can do the fitness Pilates style workout as well if you want to do a bit more dead bug sit-ups, that sort of thing, a bit more core work. So it's up to you, and hopefully see you again on Tuesday. Bye.